Hello Aries, Aries rising and Aries moon people. This is your weekly astrology and card horoscope for the week starting October 17th, 2016. And remember guys, in these weekly horoscopes, the astrology is based on what is going on unique to this week. There are plenty of aspects shifting throughout the month always, and if you're interested in more of the broader planetary moves, you can always check out your monthly horoscope as well. The monthly horoscopes for November are up just now, actually. I just put them up yesterday. And of course, if you would like to ever get a personal session with me, you can always go to my website, integrativemysticism.com, where you can either schedule an appointment or you can order a downloadable video file. So, Aries, what is going on this week with you? Well, in the very, very beginning of the week, actually on the 16th, later on the 16th, we have a full moon in your sign, conjunct Uranus, currently retrograde in your sign. And what happens when you have Uranus retrograde in the mix is that Uranus retrograde, remember, it's always talking about taking the, I guess you could say, the big wake-up calls off the table. Uranus goes retrograde to kind of teach the collective a lesson about not waiting for astrology and the universe to do all the work. Uranus is the planet of alteration, of revolution, of coincidence and synchronicities, and when it goes retrograde, it really diminishes the amount of those. It's just doling out to the populace. But this full moon is waking up Uranus just for this one glimpse, almost like waking them up at 2 in the morning while in the middle of a long snooze. And this full moon is talking about an opportunity for you to initiate an ending, to walk away from either a commitment or a binding contract, or maybe even just simply walk away from a connection or an obligation that you should have turned down had you the opportunity, and we are coming back around that opportunity again. It's a chance to stop a broken record, and because it's all in your sign, it could really have to do with anywhere in your life or even how you treat yourself. Later on in the week, on Thursday, we've got Mars conjunct Pluto in your 10th house of career. And whenever you get Mars and Pluto together, we're talking about a little bit of overkill, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing, because this can actually be great as far as a financial week for yourself is concerned. There's going to be a great opportunity to actually, get more pay than you're used to getting at this point in time, especially seasonally. But with Mars conjunct Pluto, we want to make sure this week that we are not trying too hard to hammer anything home, especially when it comes to giving off too much pressure or too much aggression. There's a difference between looking ambitious and looking like a hustlin' huckster who's just a bit too hungry. None of those H words are really good impressions to make, especially not when you have Mars conjunct Pluto. We want to make sure, again, to avoid too much of a heavy hand this week when it comes to how we're handling office politics and financial deals, because too much aggression could queer the deal. So it's very important to monitor how you come off. So, you might think you're coming off a bit assertive when we might be going just a tad too far. You already have a competitive edge with Mars in this area, so don't want to take it to a Teutonic place. We want to make sure that it kind of, we can actually kind of maintain that sense of nobility about it and not come off too brash. So, what's going on with your cards this week? Well, we do have the spiritual advice card with Ragnarok, alright? And in this deck, this is kind of like the Tower card of the tarot. The Ragnarok talks about destruction, final endings, and, actually creating final moments. And this is your spiritual advice area. This is about what you need to be initiating. It doesn't mean going out and initiating destruction willy-nilly. There's, you are definitely, above just kind of being chaotic and, absent-minded about it. But with the Ragnarok card, it kind of speaks back to what we just talked about with the astrology. Where do we need to stop a broken record this week? Where do we need to start severing some connections or ending a circumstance before it repeats once more? For your Earth sector, when it comes to your work and your finances, we do have the Nine of Wands inverted, which is actually a really good card to get inverted when it comes to the money area, because if you've been feeling like a lot of people have been perhaps too quiet, keeping too much information close to their chest, not necessarily sharing or being open, or even getting back to you, the Nine of Wands inverted is saying people are letting their defenses down, and that makes them a lot more negotiable, obviously, but also at the same time, avenues for extra opportunities for growth in the workplace are now available too, especially if you feel like maybe there was some kind of social politics going on or scheduling clashes that made it impossible to kind of renegotiate these things. This is where we have people a lot more cooperative. Again, watch out for that Mars-Pluto conjunction so we don't when people's defenses are down, they are a lot more sensitive, so don't do the overkill thing, but your opportunity has come. For your communications with air, when it comes to friends and relatives and the others in your life, we do have the Hermit card inverted. Again, not a bad card to get inverted, especially in this area, because the Hermit card inverted is saying that we are actually going to be resuming or opening up a channel of communication with a friend or a relative who's kind of ducked out of our lives in recent weeks and months. If we feel like somebody's gone a bit silent, we've become a little bit estranged, the Hermit card inverted is saying this person is coming out of that period of isolation. They're deciding to come back and join the rest of humanity. And if you've been missing this person, or maybe you've been feeling a bit hurt by their actions, they are going to be reaching out again in the interest of not only giving probably a good explanation, but also at the same time making up for lost time. For your challenge this week with fire, we do have the Strength card inverted. Okay, going back that talk about overkill this week, the Strength card inverted can really pay attention to where, our temperament might turn on a dime. Watch out for emotional 180s this week, Aries, especially if you feel like, maybe it's been kind of harder to keep yourself from going and doing an emotional 180. There may be some temptations to kind of pop off in a bit of a rant, or just kind of blow up at somebody. It's really not that time. The Strength card inverted says that it's understandable why you might feel like you need to blow up, especially if you've waited too long to speak up for yourself. But with the Strength card inverted as a challenge, it is saying that you do need to work on keeping that under control and, and kind of, leash the beast. Don't unleash it this week, because we already have enough energy going on in the skies that says enough will be plenty. What you've got will be plenty. Okay, so we don't need to blow up to make a point. For your emotions with water in your romantic life, we do have the Five of Wands upright. Now, this card is telling a little bit more about some competitive energy going on in the relationship that you're in, or maybe even with a crush, or maybe even several interests that you may have. In fact, several Aries people out there may find themselves in a situation where if you're single and looking, you're going to have maybe too many options to choose from right away. And if you are out and looking, you're kind of mixing and mingling, there's a good chance that more than one person is going to catch your eye. And you're under no obligation to kind of narrow it down right now, but just allow that to play itself out. Because with the Five of Wands, sometimes the people that we are interested in have competition for our attention. For those of you who are currently coupled, it takes on a different bit of a tone. The Five of Wands can indicate you and your partner competing over something else this week. Sometimes we compete with our partner over attention. We compete with our partner over priority in our relationship. And the Five of Wands is basically saying here, again, watch out for too much aggression, but also understand that this is not personal. A lot of the times we can take these things personally when our partner feels like maybe we're not sharing responsibilities, attention, or priority enough, and we can take it as a personal insult. But it's not about the individual, it's just about the arrangement. And if we can keep ourselves from going down that rabbit hole, or at least help our partner also to keep from going down that rabbit hole, we can fix this just fine. So that is your forecast, Aries. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate it. And of course, if you'd like to get a session, you can always follow the links below or go to integrativemysticism.com.